Hey, just waiting on someone to come on. If you're on, speak to me. Say hi. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Hey, Tiff. You done making pudding? You done making pudding, girl? Start in a few minutes. This is a pop-up live. Should have did it a couple days ago, but all right, girl. Come on, pudding. Start in a few minutes. Well, not a few minutes. I don't be like to wait. I'll start in a little bit. Thank you, girl. I'm starting to build a little collection of these glasses. I like them too.
I want to welcome everybody to the Life Room.
Okay, I'm gonna start in a little bit. Start in a little bit. Hey, Kiki. Start a little bit. Not gonna hold y'all long. Not gonna hold y'all long. And ironically, it's raining. Talking about a flood. Okay. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. This is pretty much I guess a personal testimony or a personal trial, I guess you would say in a way. So you guys know, people that are in the Hammond area or in the Northwest Indiana area, we had all this rain, all this water. Pretty much a lot of people's homes have been messed up. The basements have been jacked up, including mine. So, that just produced a lot of, like, God, what are you doing? Amidst of what is going on, in the midst of everything that's going on, you guys just notice, just even on social media, the news, it is so much going on, y'all. It is so much going on. So, just with this flood, I'm like, okay, it was already quarantined. Now our basements and stuff are flooded. So I just wanted to give you guys my testimony and then what God spoke to me regarding what happened. So, of course, this weekend, my basement flooded. And the thing is, God was kind of telling me, to clear out the basement. Been telling me for weeks to clear out my basement. There's a bunch of stuff down there that I kind of needed to throw away anyway. I didn't need. I needed to tidy up down there, but didn't even think about it, thinking I have time, I'll get to it when I get to it, whatever. So here comes all this rain. I'm thinking, I'm on the couch, I'm like, this is good rain. I'm about to give me a good nap in and just let me just enjoy this rain. So I go to sleep, wake up, look outside. Almost half of my car is just like up to with water. And then, my neighbor came and helped out and talked about the car. And he was like, did you check your basement? I got about like 2 feet of water in my basement. I said, oh God, no. So I went downstairs, everything floating. Everything. I was livid. My basement does not flood. So I was livid. And then went to the bathroom, toilet, just spewing out sewer water. The bathroom downstairs in my basement, spewing water. The sewer that was there, spewing water. So I'm like, oh my God, It is sewer water in my house. So I'm like, oh my God, what are you doing? God, what is the reason for this? God, why are you putting, this on top of everything else that's going on top of your people? Like, what's going on? So then he was just telling me, I'm thinking like, okay, I got it. No, this is the second story. So I'm like, I got insurance. Oh God, I got insurance, and I pay, for my house insurance. I'm a homeowner. So call the insurance thinking everything is going to be okay. And the lady just tells me, no, you don't have any coverage. You don't have backup sewer and coverage. You don't have that. And I just was like, oh, well, okay. And she was just like, I appreciate you being so calm. She said, I don't get this. She said, usually when people are going through things, they're ready to cuss me out, tell me off, whatever. I said, well, what can you do? I'm like, it wasn't your fault, that this thing has happened. So then I just got off the phone with the agent and I just prayed to God, and I was like, well, God, I know that you're going to, the things that you allow to happen to my life, it always has a purpose. It always has a reason why you're doing the things that you do, or why you allow things to happen. And what he just told me, what came into my mind was recompense. So what man won't do, God will do. He will repay you back for anything that you have lost. And I just thinking about the flood and the water that had to come, I was like, well, why is it flooded? And I giggled because God was telling me all along to clean up my basement. And I'm just like, well, why did that have to happen? So as the water, thinking about it, I chuckled because it was a way. I said, well, God, was this a way for you to tell me to clean up the basement? So I just wanted to bring that to you guys, because just think about, what is the flood that God has brought into your life? What is the thing that God has used for you to clear out whatever clutter that you don't need in your life? Sometimes God will send a body of water, or he will send something that would just seem like it's insurmountable, that would seem like it's just so big, and that it's just so you're so inconvenienced by it, that he's just like, he has to send it. So, I'm a word person. I'm a definition person. So the definition of flood is an overwhelming, large amount of water beyond its normal confines, limits, or restrictions, borders, or walls. And then the verb for it is to cover or submerge or place or area under the water. So we just think about, a flood. We have our, when it says it goes beyond the confines, the limits, the restrictions, the borders, and the walls. Think about what walls that we have that we feel like, hey, I have my walls, I have my little fortress, I'm comfortable in this fortress. And then here comes God with this flood. Here comes this big body of water. Looks like, it's trying to destroy you, but really, could it be sent to replenish? Could it be sent to just make sure that you get rid of things that are not supposed to be there? Sometimes God will send a flood in your life for a replenishing. Sometimes God will send a flood in your life for a refreshing. And it's inconvenient for us because we have to clean up, but we are cleaning up actually what shouldn't have been there. God will sometimes send a flood. So, water, representation of water in the Bible is a refreshment, flowing water, living water. And it says God's faithful and lasting provision for his people. That's what it stands for with the water. So it's a spiritual thing. So sometimes even something that is spiritual, something that is of God, because a flood is just so powerful. Sometimes that's how God rushes into our life. His spirit rushes into our life and forces us to cleanse what shouldn't be there, what's in the way, what's a distraction. God will send that flood. So then, the next definition, recompense. Recompense is to pay for compensation or reward given for loss or harm suffered or effort made. So when God told me, after I prayed and after I just I can't believe that I have to deal and clean up this water. I can't believe that this happened to me. I can't believe that, all of this stuff came after the flood. But sometimes when God sends that powerful force spiritually, It's forcing you to clean up your life. Sometimes God will send a flood to clean up your life, literally to get your house in order. So that's just what I wanted to tell you guys tonight. You know, that a word that I've been holding on to. Sometimes God will send a flood of water. That is his spirit. And sometimes it can seem like it's so powerful and forceful and hurtful, but actually it's God. He's trying to cleanse anything that is not of him, so that you can have, and then he'll come back after that's been destroyed, and you'll have recompense. He will pay you back for what you have lost, even though he was in charge of the cleansing. Woo! He will pay you back what is lost, even though he's in charge of the cleansing. And the good thing about when God cleanses, and what he replaces is better than what you have lost. It's way better. It's brand spanking new. So sometimes we have to thank God for the flood. We have to let it happen so that we can just, there's things that we should have got rid of a long time ago. We should have got rid of relationship. We should have got rid of friendships. We should have just gotten rid of things that didn't even belong in our lives. And sometimes God has to send a flood. He has to send a spiritual cleansing. And sometimes it looks like it's a mess that you have to clean up. But you don't have to clean up. You just throw it away. You take out the trash and let him replace it with something that is of him. That's why I say, let the flood happen and get ready for the recompense. God's recompense is better than what you've had. So sometimes, it's hard to let go of things that you've been attached to for a while. It's hard because you're familiar with it. You know all the components of it. But when God sends his spirit, and that's the representation of the water, his refreshment, his life-giving resource, his glory, his provision for his people, that's what the water represents. Provision. Sometimes provision don't look like provision when it's coming. Hey, Elder. Sometimes provision don't look like provision. Provision could look like a flood. Provision could look like a flood. Like I would say in this instance, when my basement has flooded, I was like, oh my God, this is a disaster. But then God showed me, you had to throw that stuff away. This stuff that you didn't need. I've been told you to clean this up. So let's take that into our lives. What has God told us to clean up and we didn't? So he had to send a flood. He had to send a refreshment. He had to send something to knock down the walls and the borders that we had. That, hey, we're in this box. We're in this confinement. We're comfortable here. But when God sends the flood, that knocks all that down. So I just wanted to release that just quick word. I know it's late. People are probably just trying to go to bed, go to sleep. But I wanted to release that quick word to get ready for recompense. I really don't know who it's for. I don't know who needs this word, but I know it was heavy on me for a couple of days. So someone may be coming back and watch the replay, and then wondering, like, I just feel like sometimes when God does something and releases a word, it's always a prophetic gesture that proceed or is before the word that he sends. So I had to naturally my basement had to naturally be flooded for me to get this revelation. And sometimes God will do that to you. I just felt like the flood was just such a bad thing. But when I thought about it and laughed, I needed it to happen because I wouldn't have got rid of that stuff if it did not flood, if it did not get ruined. Sometimes God got to ruin some stuff. God got to ruin your plans. God got to ruin some things for you because you just feel like ain't nothing wrong with it. You're going to in the basement, you can move some stuff to one corner, but you're supposed to throw that away. In your life, what is one thing? It could be a relationship, it could be a friendship that you just put in the category when really they don't even deserve to be in your life. They don't need to be there. They don't need to be there, but you holding on to it. And sometimes God has just sent that flood, that spiritual awakening for you to move, to clean up your mess. So then you can have recompense. His recompense, your compensation or reward given for loss or harm suffered or effort made. It has to be something that is dreadful that happens before you can appreciate what the new thing that God will bring unto you. Sometimes something just life-shattering, heartbreaking has to happen so God can bring in the new. And I think that's just so powerful to say that, because we're so afraid to let go of the old for God to do something new. And sometimes he has to send a flood. Sometimes he's already sent raindrops. He's already sent little messages. But the fact that he has to send a flood to ruin what you thought that you needed, and now that it's ruined, because he put his spirit over it, so now you see it for what it is. You see it as trash. You see it as something like, oh, I really didn't need that. I could throw it away. Because I did that with a lot of things in my basement that I cleaned up. I cleaned up some junk, and I was just like, why didn't I throw that away before? Because when he puts his refreshment, his life-giving source on it, you'll see how dead that thing is. You'll see how dead that thing is. So I just wanted to release this word. Just get ready, whoever this is for. Get ready for recompense, and whatever God is sending, whatever seems like just stuff is just so out of place, let it happen. Let the chips fall as they may, as they say, and let God bring you something new. So I hope you guys appreciate this message. I know everybody's kind of asleep right now. So whoever is going to join in the replay, go ahead and share it. And I forgot last time, my plugs. I do have a book. I am a published author. So then is the Psalms of My Emotions. You can, this is just not just my testimony. There's poems, and I believe this book is good for emotional breakthrough. It's just not just all about me. It's what God did through me, and it's what God showed me, revelations, how to just really kind of walk through certain dreams, and it's just a bunch of things in here that may stir you to get through your emotions, to get to the root of things, to look at what is really like the problem that's going on in the dysfunctions. Like, I battle, just being Jezebel and control and manipulation and problems with, relationships is all in here. It's all good. So I just wanted to if you guys don't have it, Barnes & Noble and Amazon, you can get that. It is the Psalms of My Emotions. Also, I'm selling shirts as well. I'm having one tonight. You can't really see it. It's Respect the Oil. It's on my website at thepofme.com. The PFME, POFME.com, and you'll find some other shirts in there as well. So I hope you guys are having a good night. Hey Lori, you could catch the replay. So I'm just gonna get off of here, and you guys have a good night and enjoy your day.